Hey y'all, I hope you're super well today. I'm chilling. I just want to go outside, but it's kind of a gloomy day and it's super windy, so I felt like y'all wouldn't be able to hear me. So here I am in my little acrobatic hammock. Because why not? Having a pretty good day. I went to go visit my grandma. She seems to be doing better than the last time I saw her, which makes me happy. Had a nice weekend. I really wanted to talk about being alone and how too many people are afraid of being alone. Why though? Like, are you afraid of yourself? Is that because you don't like you? Is that because you don't know you? Is that because you don't think you can do anything by yourself, or what? You don't want to let people down? I don't get it. Like, there are so many people out there that don't spend time alone. Like, they do not like to be alone. If they have a chance, they will call somebody. They don't even know who they are. Their opinions are their friends' opinions. Their personality is their lover's personality. Their dreams are the dreams their parents gave them. Like, people are living other people's lives because they will not take the time to be with themselves, to even figure out who they are, what they want. And then, if they do, they won't allow themselves to be alone to even achieve those things, to be productive and work on those things. People drive me nuts. How they don't do things they want to do because other people aren't doing them. Well, maybe it's not for those other people, but it doesn't mean that it's not for you. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it because so-and-so doesn't want to do it. Do you know you can still enjoy a wonderful hike alone? You can still enjoy the beach alone. You can go to a yoga class, a dance class, a painting class alone. You don't have to wait on your friends if that's what you want to do. And you can probably meet friends there. You might even meet the next person in your life, the biggest player in your life. Who knows? When you start doing things that you want to do and stop being fearful that people aren't doing them. Oh, no one's doing that. People I know don't want to do it. Oh, no one makes time for me to do that. It's like, okay, why aren't you making time for you? You know, I wanted to take a pole dancing class for a long time. And I wouldn't go because my girlfriends wanted to go, but never made time for it. And so I didn't want to go without them. I didn't want to be rude, but they never made time for it. And so one day I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go. I'm not going to wait on you guys just because you don't know if you really want to go. Just because you don't know if you're really confident or not. I'm still going to do my thing. I loved it. And it started me on my women's empowerment journey. Not necessarily. Belly dancing helps with that. But like just kind of doing something on my own. Stepping out and empowering myself. And the one thing that I did choose, pole dancing, happened to be a sexy thing that empowered women, strong women do. You know, I recommend all women give it a try. It's fun. You know, the classes are about fun. Women are there laughing at themselves, giggling and learning and working on their strength and their confidence and feeling sexy in their own skin with a bunch of other people doing the same thing. It's like very empowering. And sometimes you have to challenge yourself to empower yourself. I understand success is on the other side of fear. So just, get over it. I know there's days when you're sitting home alone and you're like, oh no, like I'm home alone or I'm alone, like, yikes, I can call somebody, I can do something with other people, but what about doing something with you? Again, do you know your dreams? Do you know your heart? Do you know yourself? Do you know what you like about you? Do you know what you don't like about you? You know what drives me nuts? So many people are like, I don't like this about me. And they just continue to hate on themselves. And it's like, why not change that? Why not love yourself how you want to be loved? Why not show people how you want to be loved by getting your shit together? Getting to know yourself. Wouldn't you want a loved one to get to know you? Wouldn't you want somebody to want to spend time alone with you? Why don't you want to spend time alone with you first? We need to sit down and confront our shadows, confront our traumas, and we can't necessarily do that with other people distracting us. Sometimes we can do it with a therapist, a really good friend, a counselor, life coach, sure. But not someone we call to distract ourselves. Not someone we hang out with just because we need company from ourselves. We also need to learn how to celebrate on our own. There are some things in life that you just don't need to do with other people. Like I said, you can hike to the top of the most beautiful mountain and experience the most profound, magnificent view. By yourself. Just because there's another pair of eyes there doesn't mean anything. It's not confirmation that you saw it. Sure, other people, it's nice to share an experience with, but it doesn't take away from you if you experience something alone. You know how people are like, oh, if there's no picture, it didn't happen? It's like, no, that's not life. You don't need to have a person there to continuously validate the experience. Like, yeah, we're having a good time. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Yeah, it's good. Like, no, you could be like, yeah, this is good. I'm enjoying it because I know me. I don't get why people are so afraid of themselves. Like, why they don't want to spend time learning themselves as much as they want to spend time learning about other people. We're so fascinating. And like when we are alone, like people get so afraid. Like I read this book a long time ago called, I always forget what it's called. It's by Napoleon Hill, and it's The Interview with the Devil. And he talks about, the guy is interviewing the devil, and he's asking the devil these questions, and what is sin and whatnot. And the devil is saying, it's wasting your potential. When you have this big-ass dream and you do nothing about it, that's sinning. Not sex, not food, not drugs. Like sometimes those are things that help us get to our potential, but using things wrong, using people as distractions, sex as distractions, food as distractions, keeping ourselves away from ourselves is sinning. And it's funny, it's like, how can food be sinning? It's like, have you ever ate to the point where you did not want to get off the couch and you don't want to do things that are beneficial to your life? Yeah, I've been there. How about a sexual partner? Somebody that you can be productive to your dream, or you can call a fuck buddy over just to waste time because you don't want to be alone, because you don't want to be on your shit and you don't want to be accountable for yourself. So you'd rather distract yourself with somebody. sex is fun, right? Pleasure, it still feels good. You have more of an instant gratification than sitting down and working on something for a week with blood, sweat, and tears, and then at the end of maybe a year being able, yeah, I did that, okay. Yeah, sex is more instant. But again, could be a sin. Not that sex is a sin, because the creative energy is divine and beautiful, but calling McDonald Dick or Taco Hell over when you could be working on yourself, that's sinning. Oversleeping when you could be working on yourself, meditating. There's so many things that are blessings and curses if you use them right, and they were just saying don't be a drifter. The devil's one thing that he has on people is when they get caught into a current and a drift and they don't think for themselves. They start hanging out with the people that just go with the flow. And although going with the flow is how you should be, in a sense, relaxed and going with spirit, at the same time, take control over your life. Say no to toxic shit. Know what you want. Know who you are. That's for me. That's not for me. I like that. I don't like that. Not, oh, if they're doing it, I guess we're doing that. Oh, I'm not going to do something unless, right? I'm not going to do something unless other people are doing it. No, fuck it. Make your way or show people how something else is cool. We have so much of the same thing being repeated. Create something new. And you won't be able to do that until you can actually be with yourself. Think with your own mind. And sometimes, yeah, it's nice to talk things out with the group. I do that often. I'm alone so much that sometimes I need to say things out loud with a friend. Not so much because I need their advice or opinion or whatever, but because I need to hear myself think it through. Yeah, okay. Be with friends, take their love, advice, wisdom, but with a grain of salt. Make sure you spend some time with yourself. Make sure you know what you want, who you are, because that's when we start to forget or when we don't know, I think that's when the depression creeps in. I think that's when we're what is life? When we can't find happiness is when we can't see a clear path to our future, or we can't feel how what we're doing right now has anything to do with our purpose. It's because you're drifting. Now, if you are taking control, you'll probably be feeling yeah, I'm on the right path. And it's scary. And I know a lot of people are afraid to take those steps, but honestly, it feels so much better than just sitting around. Right? And honestly, I'm not opposed to learning who you are through trial and error. Sometimes you gotta try phases. You're going through an emo phase. Although I'm still in a very emotional girl, I'm not a dark girl. Okay? But sometimes you gotta go through that. Sometimes you gotta be a freak and then try celibacy to know that you're really in the middle. Sometimes you gotta try veganism to know that might have different effects on your life. Sometimes you gotta try things. I've been vegan for a little bit. I hate labels. I'm not a vegan. But again, sometimes you have to learn who you are. And sometimes you just know. That's just not for me. It's bad vibes, and I'm going to trust that it's not for me. I don't even have to try it. Trust that. And honestly, you don't get to know your intuition until you get to know yourself. Until you can actually be I like me, and I trust me, and I want to treat myself right, and I want to achieve my dreams, and I want to be the best I can be, is your spirit and your intuition going to start showing up for you. Actually, I lied. Your spirit and your intuition shows up for you all the time. But when you don't care for yourself, you don't seem to listen to that. You know, like when it's like red flag, and you don't pay attention, it's like red flag, explosion, and you're like, why is my life shit? It's like, yo, we were trying to help you this whole time, but you wouldn't sit down and listen. We tried to be gentle. You wouldn't listen. You know, when you finally sit down and be like, what would be good for me? What do I want? Then your intuition is like, this and this and this and this. And your spirit's like, oh, I'll tell you what you want. I'll tell you that person's no good. I'll tell you this is your path. I'll tell you if you do that again, the most amazing things will happen. Keep doing that. But you got to learn to love yourself enough to be okay with being alone. Like if it comes down to you having to be by yourself, you can't be afraid of that. If not doing something because it doesn't feel right and having to say no to your friends is what you got to do, you got to be okay with that. If, you know, as much as you want to call that fuck buddy over, but you need to work on your online store because you call yourself an entrepreneur, then you need to own your shit. Love yourself enough. Love the one you're with. I try to tell myself that all the time. I'm often alone. So I have to learn how to love myself. You know, a lot of people, when they're alone, they don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to give themselves what they want. They don't know how to make themselves happy. And honestly, we think instant gratification things, like let me just eat this food that makes me feel happy, gives me a little bit of dopamine. Let me call this person and give me a little bit of dopamine. Let me light this joint. Hey, I am a culprit of that. Let me just smoke some dope. Feel happy instantly. But like when we actually work towards a goal, I believe that's serotonin, the happiness hormone released with achieving things. And you wouldn't be able to feel that happiness unless you were aware of yourself and aware of your dreams, aware of what you're working towards. You know, you have the ability to control your thoughts. You can make a difference with what you do with your free time. Are the people you give your free time to assets or liabilities? And I hate to be such an asshole, but sometimes people like want to get to know me and I'm like, you look like a liability. What are you gonna do for me? You don't have to make me money, but like raise my spirits, bring me rich experiences. I need you to add value to my life, because if you don't, you're a liability. And right now I'm really working on something because I know me. I'm on a mission. And I'm not trying to drift by. I'm not trying to distract myself like a lot of people are. I am not the happiest person, but I'm trying to be. I'm working on it. And I feel like the more I work on me and the more I achieve my goals and the more I get to know me, maybe the more I can be happy or enjoy life or heal wounds or all kinds of shit. And I know a lot of people are afraid to do that because they don't want to address the wound. They'd rather just have the Band-Aid on it for a long time. But like, hey, if you have a thorn in your hand and you put a Band-Aid on it and you just let the, shit heal over the thorn, like that still might hurt you to address a little bit later. So might as well just rip out the thorn now, kiss and lick the wound now, and then, later on you'll be, healed. And ready to go. And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I got hurt, let me distract myself. Let me put a Band-Aid on it and distract it. And it's like, nope. You gotta get down to the source. You gotta dig that splinter out, baby. You gotta work through those fears in order to achieve your dreams. You gotta start, you gotta say no to that fuck boy or girl. That's a start. Oh, and then you gotta sit down and make a list of what your dreams are. That's a start. And then you actually gotta, take action on them. But don't be afraid of you. Don't be afraid to be alone, because I think that that is some of the most productive time of your life. Now, when you get to celebrate your life, sure, have that with other people so they can celebrate with you, but people don't need to watch you build, and you don't need to have other people there to validate what you're building or to validate your experience. Like I said, you can still see the most amazing thing in the world by yourself, and it still counts. You don't have to have other people there to witness what you're witnessing for it to be a real experience. Don't be afraid to have real experiences with yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that you have. You're the only one that you can really count on. You're the only one that you'll be laying on your deathbed being like, what'd we do? How'd we do? Not to know anybody else but you. Make yourself proud. Don't hate yourself. Do more of the things that feel good, that you love to do, and not in like in a dopamine sense, but in a that made my heart feel good way. Anyways, I think I gotta get ready for work. So it was nice talking to you, or with you. All right. I hope y'all can spend some time alone. Be with yourself today. Learn how to love the one you're with. Don't be afraid of you. If somebody in your life isn't okay with you being alone with you, then they probably shouldn't be in your life. Like if you're like, hey, I need some alone time to grow and build myself, and they're like, no, I need to be with you every minute and every second. That seems like toxic codependency, and y'all need to work on that. But I'll keep my mouth shut. Actually, I won't. I already said it. All right. Like I said, I'm out. I hope you have a wonderful day.